Surah Al-Mulk is a very powerful chapter. Muslims are recommended to recite it every night. The sovereignty. It is a chapter that begins with an announcement. Allah Azza wa Jal says in the Qur'an, بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم تبارك الذي بيده الملك وهو على كل شيء قدير الذي خلق الموت والحياة ليبلوكم أيكم أحسن عملا وهو العزيز الغفور صدق الله العظيم. The meaning of the translation, blessed is he in whose hand is the dominion, and he has power over all things. He who created death and life to test you as to which of you is best indeed. And he is the Almighty, all forgiving. Notice the order. Death comes first, then life. Islam tells us that death is not the end. It is the beginning of the real life. The Quran does not sugarcoat mortality. It confronts it head on. Philosophers have wrestled with mortality and with this question of death for millennia. Some see it as annihilation. Others disguise it with myths of reincarnation or vague shadows in the afterlife. But the Quran is uncompromising. Death is created. Death itself is a servant of Allah Azza wa Jal. Death is a doorway into accountability. No religion captures this with such precision. In Christianity, for example, salvation is blurred by atonement theories. In secular philosophies, death is simply the end. But in Islam, mortality has a meaning. It is a divine exam. It is the bridge to eternity. Now think about this. In every human civilization, the fear of death has produced either denial or destruction. Ancient Greece, for example, glorified the heroic death, and modern society hides death behind hospital curtains and digital entertainment. But Islam commands remembrance of death. The Prophet ﷺ said, remember often the destroyer of pleasures, not to paralyze us, but to awaken us. The Quran makes mortality not a tragedy, but a curriculum. Every graveyard is a classroom. Every passing day is a reminder that sovereignty belongs to Allah Azza wa Jal, the creator of all that exists. So Surah Al-Mulk does something no other scripture does. It actually ties the act of reading with rescue. The Prophet ﷺ taught that Surah Al-Mulk intercedes for its reciter in the grave. Imagine a chapter defending you when the dust has closed over your body. No other faith tradition has this living link between divine word and the most certain reality, which is death. Islam does not just promise comfort. It provides a shield at the very moment humanity fears most, alone in the grave. So when we read Surah Al-Mulk, the sovereignty, we are not chanting poetry. We are training for death, reminding ourselves of who holds sovereignty and ensuring that when our breath runs out, we will not face the grave alone. Islam teaches that mortality is not defeat. It is the unveiling of the truth. And no other religion, no other philosophy speaks with this clarity, certainty, and sovereignty over death. What's interesting is that the majority of people who reverted to Islam and I spoke to stated that mortality, life after death, and accountability is what made them convert to Islam. Because no other religion speaks of mortality the way Islam does. Ready to talk about theology? Subscribe and read the Qur'an. Reach out if you have any questions.